Hello, Christ Covenant Church. I am coming from you. Don't worry, I'm in the passenger seat. I'm not driving, but I'm here with John. And I wanted to give you the sermon preview. Last week we looked at Philippians chapter 1, verses 1 through 8. I told you this is a prayer that Paul prays for this church. And so this week we're going to look at the second half of that prayer, verses 9 through 11. And as Paul has already shown and expressed his affection for the church and in the partnership and the community that they have in the gospel, he is now going to show how he prays for them to grow in love. You know, love is a pretty hard word to define sometimes. What is love? I mean, love, we talk about loving a hamburger, and we talk about loving our wives, and we talk about loving God, but certainly there's a difference between those kinds of loves. And so we're going to dive into when Paul prays for the church to be growing and abounding in love. What does that mean? How do we ground that in Christ and his love for us? And think about it. Out of anything Paul could pray for them to grow into, he's praying that they would grow in love. And so that gives us kind of a definition for that big theological word, sanctification. How do we grow in Christ? Well, a lot of it has to do with growing in love. And so this week in verses 9 through 11, we're going to explore how Paul expresses what growing in the love of Christ means, both in our relationship with God and in our relationship with others. And so take time to read verses 9 through 11. This is probably the least amount of verses we'll go through in any one sermon, but I think there's a lot of good words. It's only one sentence, but there's a lot of good words that if we define and understand these words, it's going to give us a deeper understanding of what sanctification is and what it means to continue to grow and abound in love, both for God and for one another. We look forward to worshiping with you on Sunday.